Okay, just coming to the point, what we finished yesterday, how the CS is going to behave. Okay, it's going to control the colors. Control in the sense it changes the colors, it's applying the colors, it's applying the borders, it's applying the width, and it is going to apply the padding, and the entire behavior of the HTML piece is going to change. See this, this is an example. So all the things, if you cannot imagine with the HTML, the right side screen, whatever, what just we are observing, we cannot imagine with the pure HTML. Okay, so how it will be? This is the property and this is the value. And separated by the terminated by the semicolon. So how many properties and values combinations you are going to apply? Those many combinations clubbed with the curly braces, and you are giving the selector name. We are not to discuss the selector. We are going to discuss the selector today. The thing is property and the value. How you are going to write the combinations. Okay. So these are all the different list of the CSS, and not only this, some hundreds of properties and values will be there. And what I shared the content category wise, you need to take the time. For example, if you need the time for tomorrow, you can spend the time and read and everything. And how to practice, I'm going to tell you. Okay, once the selector, usage of the selector, and where you are going to work, and we are discussing everything about it today. Okay, just check all the properties and values, then we can go for the project. And there is a two ways, three ways. One is inline, second one is internal, third one is external. Yesterday we discussed the internal, the inline, the inline. This is the inline. This is kind of attribute kind of things. In the opening tag of the HTML tag, you are going to write all the properties and values. The list of the properties and values you are going to write one after one by separating the semicolon. For the last property and value, no need to write the semicolon. You are calling this properties and values with the style keyword. This is about inline. This is in the line, inline. Okay. So the name indicates that it is an inline. What is the disadvantage with this inline is, for example, with the same look and feel, if you would like to give to the 100 tags, 100 times you need to write the same code. To avoid that, the same code block, we are going to keep like this. We are going to keep like this, and we will give the name. Instead of the star, I will give something ABC. Dot ABC. So why the dot is coming, I'm going to discuss today now. Okay, so that can be called CP paragraph. This is a tag kind of things. You will be get confused. So assume this is an ABC. So this will be called in the opening tag. Instead of the style, I'm going to write class equal to ABC. So even in the 100 tags also, I'm going to call class is equal to ABC. Class is equal to ABC. If you are going to change any property and the value in the head tag, that will applicable to the entire page where you used the selector. Okay. So now coming to the selectors, I will tell you what is a selector. After discussing about the selector, I will move to the external style sheet. Okay. Zoom. Open Zoom का open just now. Selectors. One is ID kind of ID selector. Second one is class selector. Third thing is tag selector. Fourth thing is compound selector. Fifth one is group selectors. Sixth one is universal selector. Generally, we can classify these selectors in these ways. After this, there are some pseudo selectors also there. That is came in more in CSS 3. Right now, the version we are using CSS 3. Pseudo selectors. Can pronounce it as a pseudo selectors. ID kind of selectors. So, selector starts with hash and name of the selector. When you can use this? When you can use this? You can use this selector in unique times only. Sometimes in the project, in entire project, only one time you need to use. If you are going to define any selector with the ID, only one time you need to use an entire project. That is ID. ID in the sense, one ID cannot be repeated in one organization in the same way. When you are handling with the forms to send the data to the backend, okay, in that case also, any content only one time to be represented. In that case, in all the cases, we are going to use this ID, and that can be used in only one time. So how you can write? Example, hash, for example, wrapper. This is my ID name. As usually, I'm writing the code. Width is 1200 px. Height is auto. Margin is auto. This is my code. This is my code. Where you are going to write? Either in head section under the styles, or else external. We need to discuss about the external style sheets. Once you defined with the ID, how you can use in the body, in the body section. Have you heard about div? But anyway, just I'm going to tell you this. Assume this is also one HTML tag, div and a div, division. Instead of the table, we are using this. Body, and it's a body. How you can use it? Div ID equal to, in the quotation, wrapper. Here, whatever the elements you want to write in the paragraphs or other things, everything will be comes under this. How you are going to call this? Div ID equal to wrapper. So this is the ID name. Only one time you need to use that. Don't use multiple times. Don't use multiple times. Class. Selector starts with dot. Okay, dot. Okay, how? For example, dot logo, dot navigation, dot about. This in this way. Same process. The selectors, how you are going to write the same. For example, dot logo, width is equal to, for example, 200 px, height equal to, height equal to, so it is a something 80 px. Float left. What is the float left? Don't ask now. Just we are discussing in the future. So you can write in the running notes. Of course, you want to write. You can write it. So this is my selector. Class kind of selector. When you can use it. Same kind of design. Same kind of design to be managed in HTML. We need to control this. We need to control this with selector. We need to change this with the selector. We need to beautify this with the selector. That is this kind of selector with the class selector, with the class kind of selector. And there is one topic is there, specificity. Specificity. Really, if you can able to control any behavior with the class, don't use the wrapper, because wrapper assume there is 100 points. For the class, it is a 10 points. For the tag, it is a 1 point. So how light your application should be. So how the light weight will be calculated based on the count of that. Less count, less weight. More count, more weight. Really, if you it is really needed to write the ID, then only you can write the ID. Unless use the class only. Even an entire application, only one class is needed. Okay. Don't think we are only one time, so that why don't I use ID? No, really ID is not required. ID is not required. In the special case, while you're using the JavaScript unique conditions, in that time only you need to use the ID. Don't write ID if it is not necessary. When you want to use the knife, when you want to use the blade, that is your logic. Okay. Right. So CSS specificity. For ID, it is 100 points. For the class, it is a 10 points. And tag kind of selector, it is a 1 point. Less count is less weight. Less count is a less weight. Less weight means it is clean styling and load the page quickly. How we can use? For example, you created the logo here. In the body only you are going to call this, right? In the body, we know this. Only not directly in the body, in the any area you are going to use. Do class equal to logo. With the dot, you are going to define the class and class kind of selector that can be used in the HTML page with the class. These are all the theory part. While you are entering into the some pure styling, all these things are very important. Now, tag kind of selector. This is tag kind of selector in the sense. This kind of selectors used for redefining or redesigning of HTML tag. Okay, to change the HTML tag appearance, we use selector. The case is no prefix is needed. What is the prefix here? Dot or hash or anything. No prefix is needed. And only HTML tags are selectors here. What is other case? If you redefine any tag, that tag will be changed appearance automatically in HTML page. That's it. Okay. What is the process? For example, you are changing the H1. For example, color is red. By default is a Times New Roman. Font family, I'm changing as Arial. Okay, Arial. Text aligned center. Assume this. Whenever you are going to write H1, automatically this will becomes. No need to call any class with the name of the class or anything, because there is no dot anything. Directly, if you write in the body, you are going to write in the body. H1. Just nothing. Directly, the behavior will becomes like this. And group selector. By separating the comma, okay, comma, we can apply same kind of properties and values to the entire group. Okay, it may be tags or it may be any selectors, class or ID kind of selectors also. How you are going to write? For example, if it's a tag, in case tag H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. All the cases I need to change the color as well as font name. Simply what you write, font family, Vardhana. That's it. Color, hash DDD. Whenever I'm going to write the above tags, automatically the color will be changed and the font will be get changed. In case of the IDs or selectors, example, dot ABC, dot XYZ, dot okay, intro. So properties and values. What are the properties and values? Same in intro or same in XYZ, same in ABC. Even ID or class. ID or class content selector. This is the case. And other compound class is there. Once we are going to the subject, then it will be understandable. So that those two things I am going to discuss in the another session.